Sunshine this afternoon with a high of 67 to 77. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 49 to 65. Then mostly cloudy Wednesday with showers with a high of 75 to 84. Partly sunny skies Thursday, high 83 to 87. Then look for a couple of showers in the morning on Friday. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Flawless Lawns Ocala has multiple packages to fit any budget, starting as low as $20 weekly. Call Ashley at 352-286-5300. For more info, that's 352-286-5300.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
It is Matt Gibbs with Sunrise Auto. Auto repair with personal care. I messed it up.
That's all right.
You know,
you did good last week.
Matt Gibbs in the building with us. Matt, good morning.
Morning.
How's things going with all this wet weather and everything? I bet a lot of people have been coming in and saying, "Hey, my tires ain't working the way they should."
Tom, right now, it's crazy, man.
Are you busy? Are you steady? Or are you steadily busy?
Yeah. I was sitting there going, so I'm driving a customer's truck. I was test driving it this morning. So here's the complaint. When you turn the windshield wipers on, the engine shuts off.
Wait, hold on, because maybe I heard that wrong. When you turn the wipers on, the windshield, the car shuts off.
Yeah, the engine shuts off.
Now, I remember last week, you had a car that wouldn't run because it had bullet holes in it. We're going to get back to that, too. But this week, a car cuts off when you turn the windshield wipers on.
Yep.
And did you turn the windshield wipers on?
All morning long.
Did the car cut off?
It did yesterday, but it's not doing it today.
You have fun in your job, don't you?
So I think we fixed it. So I'm trying to confirm that today. So I probably put about 12 miles on it. Now, if this was 12 miles where all around town and just on and off, every time you stop, you turn windshield wipers on, off. And before it would the engine just shut off, just die. And it's a diesel. So
did we diagnose why the windshield wipers were shutting off the car?
Well, we
or do we think we've diagnosed?
No, well, so
did they have the windshield wipers wired directly into the kill switch on the battery or something?
See, now that's the thing about a diesel. See, a diesel engine, when you shut it off, it has to stop fuel.
Right.
Because there's no spark plugs and wires and coils.
Which is why when you go to crank a diesel, you must prime it first before you can actually
Well, you have
crank
to let the glow plugs warm up.
The glow plugs have to warm up, and then it tells you can crank.
Right, exactly. So like on your Cadillac, when you shut it off, we are eliminating fuel and spark.
Right.
So on a diesel, we got to eliminate fuel. So in my pea brain, I'm just a guy that owns a shop here in Ocala. When you turn on the wipers, how is that affecting the fuel? But when you sit there and look at the wiring schematic, I found a ground circuit that's also connected to the ECM, which is the electronic control module, or PCM, powertrain control module. So, and my theory was when we're turning on the windshield wipers, it's taking away the ground side of the circuit, causing the computer to kind of like go limp mode or go dead for a second.
Yeah, because the computer's like, I'm not grounded properly. I could end up damaging myself. I'm just going to shut down.
Exactly. So and it's ground, it's G104. We know exactly where the ground is. We went to it, we cleaned it. We've checked it for voltage drops. Everything's there. So we actually ran and we gave its own supply, its own ground.
Right.
And since we've done that, I've had no more issues. But see, that's a normal day.
Is that the fun of your job though? Is being the detective that figures these kind of things out?
It's a blast when you got 4 or 5 cars to work on, but when you got 40 to work on, it's aggravating.
You don't need puzzles.
I don't. No, don't need puzzles.
You need, hey, when I put it in drive, it don't go in drive. I need a new transmission.
That's
easy.
Right. We need to have the answers to these questions right off the bat.
When I crank it up, it coughs and spits, and then it shuts off. That's a fuel issue problem.
Probably. Or you might have a windshield wiper issue. You never know.
You never cease to amaze me, the things you walk in and say, what are you working on today, Matt? Well, I had a car that when you turned on the windshield wipers, it shut the car off.
Shut the engine down.
Now, is it a car or truck?
It's a truck.
Yeah. Which makes it even that much more aggravating.
It makes it, well, and the
Tough guy. Really? You turn your windshield wipers on and shut your truck off? Way to go there, Sparky.
And this truck, this is the guy's business. He's got to work and
with the rain, every time it rains, he turns windshield wipers on. Now he's stranded in traffic.
But here's the good part: it starts right back up
once you turn the windshield wipers off.
And sometimes you can.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this, folks. One time only. Here's my help. Rain-X bug cleaner for your windshield. You don't have that problem then, see? He can drive around, it just rolls off the windshield. He doesn't have to turn the windshield.
Well, he does have this partner with him, and I was going to just like disconnect the wiper motor completely and just put 2 strings, and they can just drive down the road and pull each other. But that
is a fix.
It is. Well, it's a repair. I don't know if it'd be a fix, but that would be considered a repair. A temporary fix for the issue. But those are the kind of things and now with the newer cars, and it's just getting crazy, man.
Let's talk about the bullet holes.
Okay.
There was a couple news articles last week about shootings and innocent people and bystanders, cars getting shot and everything. Was that one of your cars? Was your car one of those innocent bystanders stories?
Well, of course it was an innocent bystander story. Of course it was. I was just in there washing my dishes and my car got all shot up.
Right. But were you able to fix that problem?
No, actually, we're still waiting on the insurance company. The insurance company hasn't made. Here's the situation.
Insurance company, why is this our problem? You wasn't a car wreck. Somebody shot the thing.
Right, but that's
I know.
Still a wreck. It's a little bullet thing. But the issue that I guess they're having is the people bought the car that day.
So is the insurance actually in?
There's the $64,000 questions. So here's something for our listeners to really pay attention to. If you get a car insurance, let's say you switch companies, a lot of times the policy doesn't go into effect until midnight that day.
Right.
That.
So I wonder if that happens when you drive a car off a car lot. If the insurance, if you wrecked it, the first mile and a half after you drove it off the car lot, because you hear about who was it? It was a sports star or a movie star or something that got the Lamborghini and. Was it Tracy Morgan? He wrecked his Countach within 30 minutes of driving it off the lot.
Now,
wonder if that was covered.
I don't know. I always ask, when am I covered?
Yeah. Am I covered immediately, or is it tonight at midnight? You know,
I sold a car to some folks, a Honda Accord, and they wrecked it that afternoon. You know who was out of luck?
they were.
Me. I was out of luck. I could have taken them to court, but what good is that going to do?
They wrecked the car.
They wrecked the car, and that policy didn't go into effect until that next day at midnight.
Said, "Hey, your car's over here in the road."
Yeah.
Not our car, your car.
Yeah.
Over here in the road.
Yeah. It quit running. It quit running when it got hit by the truck.
Yeah. Knocked the windshield wipers right out of whack.
Yep. And there you have it.
So, what is the rule? We started this conversation by saying it's a rainy season. We've had a lot of rain here recently. What is a good rule of thumb during this kind of season to maybe check to see if you need to take your car in to get tires or stuff like that? Because, I mean, my rule of thumb when I was in my 20s was I don't see no belt chip.
Yeah. You know? I don't slide around the corner.
Yeah. I ain't having to find grip as I go around the corner.
Well, and this is something I always promote. And this is something I can pat ourselves on the back. When you come into Sunrise, people are going to ask me two things if they're going to come in for let's say an oil change.
Right.
They either ask for an oil change or they ask to get their car serviced. But I like telling our listeners, everybody gets their car serviced. There's a difference between just doing an oil change and getting a service. I could do just the oil change and not look at anything and not pay attention, but we do a service. So we always look at the tires. We look at the air pressure in the tires. We look at all your lights. We check your air filter. And we kind of give the car, and I'm not doing it out there. I'm not trying to sell a bunch of stuff.
Right.
I'm doing it because I feel like you deserve to have the car serviced.
Well, I didn't know, and luckily on a service about a year and a half ago, I didn't know there was an interior filter.
Right, a cabin air filter.
I had no idea.
Right, a lot of people don't.
So they were servicing it, and they pulled the cabin air filter, and they brought this thing in.
And it looked like it was alive?
It literally did.
Yeah, I know.
It looked like the Shaggy DA. I mean,
I have found all kinds of things on that filter, brother.
I mean, on the filter, literally on the filter was a hairband, one of those things, not a big one, just a thin one, but it was on the filter. So somehow it got caught up in the air. But there was shards of candy wrapper on this filter, but I bet that filter, and I'm the second owner of this car. The first owner of it bought it brand new in 2010. She drove it for 4.5 years, and then I bought it. Okay? Second owner. Bought it from her as the second owner. So I called her. I go, when was the last time, because I couldn't find any paperwork, which meant probably never. I said, when was the last time the interior cabinet filter was changed? She goes, there's a filter on the inside? I said, go ahead. And they changed it. Now, it was a little pricey.
It's amazing. That little filter is twice the price of an air filter.
Right.
I don't understand.
It was a little pricey, but it was something I didn't even know existed. If it hadn't been for the place I was taking it, instead of doing an oil change, doing a servicing, it may still be growing critters in it.
And one of the big things that helps that cabin air filter protects is your evaporator. So it is way cheaper, even though a cabin air filter they are kind of pricey, and I don't understand why. I don't make the prices on this stuff. I just, but
it was over $50.
Oh yeah. Now stop and think about this. If you didn't have that filter, all that you saw that filter caught is right up against the evaporator.
Which means that clogs the evaporator.
That clogs the evaporator. It doesn't get proper airflow. Doesn't cool right anymore. And to replace the evaporator in your Cadillac, $800-900.
So it's a good thing I replaced the filter.
It's a good thing, and people, and people need to just pay attention to the cabin air filter.
I didn't even know one existed.
Yeah.
Until they showed
and not
it to
all
me.
cars have them.
Okay. Hi, you're on with Matt Gibbs.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning, Hugh.
So you talk about unusual or weird things happening to your car. Last week, I get to my car. It was nice and warm out. Of course, the car was sitting in the sun, so I turned on my air conditioner, and I'm driving along, and for some reason, what was going on, I was having air conditioning on the driver's side, and on the passenger side, there was heat coming out. what the heck was going on.
Did it fix itself?
No, it's that way now. It's been that way for about a week and a half. Whenever I turn the air conditioning on, I get air conditioning on the driver's side, and then the vents on the other side are throwing heat.
Okay, so here, and you have, that's a Buick Enclave, right?
Exactly, and it's got the controls for both sides, you know.
Okay, so here's what's wrong with the car. Okay, so it's one of two things. Number one, either you're low on refrigerant, your Freon level could be a little bit low, which is real common on a Buick Enclave. They have a couple issues where they leak Freon. Number two is the driver and the passenger, they have the ability to change have their own temperature.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that is there's actuators, and we call those, and there's mode door actuators, there's blend door actuators, and there's temperature door actuators. So more than likely, if the Freon level is good, one of your actuators, and the one that's blowing cold, if you have it set on cold, is probably fine, and the one that's blowing heat set on cold is the one that's not acting right. And what's happened is that actuator is stuck, and it's not closing it's not
Closing
allowing
the heat off. It's
the
not
cold
allowing the air out.
Right. It's not letting the door close to let the cold air in. So
is that repairable, or do you have to? I can get a new one.
No. That's those are all repairable. There's 4 different mode door actuators. So even if, like, you know how you turn your air conditioner on max air, and you it sounds like the blower's got a new speed. It's really not maximum. When you have the air conditioner set on max air, it's actually recirculating the air that's already inside the car. So, and that's why it sounds a little bit different. And that has the same actuator that opens and closes that door. So there's 4 actuators in your car. And
if they have to replace the actuator, do I have to leave the car there for quite a while, or is that usually just an hour or two?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's about it depends on which actuator is failed, because there's one actuator that you have to pull the dash apart in order to get, and that's a 7-8 hour job. The majority of the actuators are usually, you can get in there in a couple hours, you know, if you can get it right in, you know. So that's good. Like if you brought it to me, it would take a couple of hours before I could work on it for a couple hours.
Are we looking at something pretty expensive for the part?
The parts probably, and I like getting them right from the GM stores. They do make aftermarket ones, but it seems like the aftermarket ones don't work as well as the factory ones. So, but they are all readily available, and those actuators are probably, I don't know, between $100 and $140 for the actuator.
Okay, well, there's no way it's going to fix itself, I suppose. I'll have to just come in and have it fixed, right?
Yes, sir. Bring it in, and we'll take a look at it for you, Hugh.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me ask you, when you look on your air conditioner, when you're looking at the controls of your air conditioner, you have the one button that shows air circulating through the car, and one that shows air coming from the outside into the car. Is one better in Florida heat than the other to have it set on?
Leave it always on max, on recirculate. So the one with the little circle?
Because it's air it's already cooled once before. It's recooling it.
Right.
Because it has to take 95-degree air if it's coming from the outside and cool it off, so it has to work harder.
And the problem, and the thing that we have to deal with more than the heat of the air is the dampness of the air, the humidity. That's a bigger challenge than the actual temperature.
Because I always leave mine on the recirculate.
Absolutely.
But to me, it made sense. If you're recirculating air that's already cooled, it's going to make it that much quicker. That's going to cool it off quicker.
Absolutely.
Because you're recirculating air that's already been cooled once.
Yes.
So, to me, that's why I did it. But you say it's a dampness issue as well.
Yeah, it's easier to, the air conditioner is not going to work harder because you're drawing the air from the outside. The air conditioner, once it's running, it's operating, it's going to operate the way it's going to operate.
It's going to cool that air off quick regardless.
Right. But it's not that it's easier, it's just better it's more efficient to keep recirculating the inside
See,
air.
and then what I do as a mistake then, I guess, is in the wintertime when it's colder outside,
Oh, you'll draw
when the
air
heater's
from the
on, I
outside.
draw it in from the outside,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem to heat the car up
Well,
near as fast.
Be honest with you, you may want to check this because a lot of cars won't recirculate heated air.
Really?
Yeah.
And now, is the air still, when you do heater versus air, back in the day when you did heater versus air, you had an air condition, and then when you had heat in cars, you just really were getting the heat off the motor that was coming.
Well, it's actually the heat actually comes, and even to your car now
Right.
comes from the cooling system, because as your car warms up, it actually you have those heater core.
Right.
So it's just all it is a little radiator that's inside your dash. And there's two hoses. They got an in hose and an out hose, and you're
it's the
cooling.
hot water
and
that's
it's
going
hot
through.
water just flowing through, and then the blower just blows the hot air off through the heater core.
So that's all it is. It's the hot water circulating through the car.
That's it.
And you're getting the heat off of that.
That's it. And nowadays, a lot of the cars now have electronic thermostats. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes on, and people probably don't. People still come in and ask, "Do you replace points when you do a tune-up?" Sir, we haven't had points since I was just a little boy. It's amazing how things are transforming, and yet nobody knows except for those that are involved in this. But there's electronic thermostats.
Man, I tell you what, one of the worst butt whoopings I ever got from my daddy, and without realizing how expensive the tool was, I was out in the Lube
Oh no.
with his timing gun.
No.
Yeah. Somebody got tore out the rack. That's all. That patent leather belt came off, and somebody got tore up for messing with that timing gun.
Yeah.
Because that timing gun back then, when you had to set the points and the timing and everything, that timing gun was a very, very important piece of
Yes,
equipment.
it was.
And here I was playing guns with it and everything, running around, flashing it and everything.
No. Actually, I had my.
He was not happy. Not happy.
I had mine out yesterday.
Your point light?
No, my timing gun.
Your timing gun?
Yeah. Got 1970 Nova in the shop.
I had a 72 Nova Super Sport.
This is a 1970. I almost drove it down here today.
Well, there you go. But yeah, so you still need a timing light for the older cars, but it's an obsolete thing now.
Yeah, it's obsolete. I mean, right
Distributor caps are obsolete.
Distributor cap. Most of the guys in my shop, what's that? What's a distributor cap?
And I remember back in the day, you could flood your car out, go into a puddle or something, get the distributor all wet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You take some gasoline, dry it out, put it back on, you can ride on down
Yes,
the road.
sir. Yes, sir.
See, I don't know. I say I don't know much about mechanicking, but just a good old boy from the woods driving dirt roads and all, you learn a few things on how, because you got to go through mud puddles and everything.
Got to.
And I knew that distributor cap, you just put a little gas in there, that gas to dry that water out. You put it back on, let the car sit for 15, 20 minutes, let the heat of the afternoon dry it out, and the motor that's hot dry it out. You ride on down the road.
Go on down with it. Yes, sir.
Don't have that option these days.
Nope.
But cars don't flood out near as easy, too.
Nope.
That's why people say, well, my car doesn't flood out. That's why morons go through flood areas when they shouldn't, and the car ends up floating off the road and stuff. Because back in the day, you went to a too deep puddle, car just shut off.
Yeah.
Because it flood out. The water get it in points and everything, it flooded out. Now you don't have that problem.
No, and the other thing too is back in the day, the carburetors. You remember, like if you pumped it more, if you pumped it one extra time, they flooded the motor. Oh Lord!
You'd have to let it sit.
Pull out spark plugs now.
You'd have to let it sit because you flooded it. What's wrong? I smell gas. You flooded it.
Yep.
You flooded it. And that 72 Nova Super Sport of mine, it had a problem every now and then where it didn't want to crank real well. Nothing a can of ether couldn't solve. Spray that ether right there on the carburetor. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Have a little boom fire right there, and then the car crank up.
See, we still use that kind of stuff right now because if the electric fuel pump goes out, we just use some. Well, we'll use some brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, just to get the car in the shop. So you'll see one of us will be sitting up underneath the hood,
causing a fire.
Yeah, or sometimes actually I have those little green propane bottles.
Yeah.
I got one of them with a little torch thing that you can put on the end of it. Except for I don't light the torch. I just turn it on and put the propane, just hold the propane inside the intake.
Turn the key.
Crank it up and pull it on the inside.
Yeah, because it creates the combustion you need.
It's going to be something. It's flammable.
And it's all about combustion.
It is.
Until GM gets their way in 2035.
And then we have all electronics.
All electric.
Then I have we'll have some kind of battery backup.
Yeah. What is it? I want everything electric by 2035. It's Nora Thunberg, the little girl, and then it's a picture of a kid from Africa that goes, "Look, we're mining your cobalt as fast as we can."
So 2035. How long do I got left, Tom?
You got about 5 seconds. Tell them where they can find you, Matt.
All right, so you can find me at 352-690-1993 or visit me at 1800 Northwest 10th Street, here in Ocala.
Matt Gibbs, talk to you next week, pal.
Yes, sir.
WOCA, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The North Carolina Republican Party Central Committee voted unanimously on Monday to censure Senator Richard Burr over his impeachment vote. The committee announced the censure in a statement that argued Burr's vote to convict went outside the authority of the Constitution. President Trump was acquitted of impeachment for a second time on Saturday. A catastrophic explosion and fire at an Afghanistan customs depot has destroyed hundreds of fuel tankers and caused traders tens of millions in losses on Sunday. NASA satellites could reportedly see the blast from space, and the fire was so intense, officials called neighboring Iran for help. The blast on the Iranian border in western Afghanistan destroyed as much as $50 million worth of vehicles and goods. The cause is still under investigation. Basketball great Michael Jordan on Monday pledged $10 million to help build 2 medical clinics for uninsured and underinsured communities in his hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. USA Radio News.
Now, with orders to stay at home, public health concerns, the reality of illness due to pathogens and viruses, your health is at an all-time high risk. That's why it's critical to take a proactive approach to boost your immune system. You can with new nano-colloidal silver from Americare. Our patented process with tiny silver